But let's look forward. What are we doing? Is Chad is doing wanted to show me yesterday. I was busy. We wanted to profile, but I think we could use some more help. Or Chad, you decide.
I mean, I don't have any example set up, but I mean, I went down the list of all the profilers, and I think I found the one that we would want to use for SALT. I mean, it'd be great to hear other people's ideas on how they would want to profile the minion in various states. I'm all for it.
Okay, well then you could ask Joe if you're familiar with him, and or Shane, you suggested to ask Joe. I don't know him, and neither his availability or.
Yeah, so that was a action item for Joe and I. We were supposed to do some profiling on WI and PythonNet, which would have been Windows. We were supposed to do that, and we got hit with the CD and 2 releases, and we never got around to doing that.
That's
VWMI. He was the one that said that he knew how to do it. So
okay, perfect. Then we wait. Perfect.
Anyway, you guys want to get started? I don't think anybody else is going to come, so I'm surprised Joe's not here. Actually, let me send him a quick little note. And just invite him. All right. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to our Windows Working Group meeting. Just wanted to give an update on the Python 3.7. The scripts have all been updated. And also we have transitioned the test suite over to run Python 3.7 on Windows. So all of the Windows tests that are running, the branch tests and the PR tests, those are all happening on Python 3.7 now. So that's pretty good. So that means we're all green. So good. I think the 3.7, Python 3.7 is going to happen for Sodium. We've had to adjust some of our milestones. I showed you that wiki last time. Bring that over here. Just open it here. I showed you guys this last time. This May 19th date has shifted to the right to the 22nd from what they're saying. So code freeze is Friday. So anything that we want to get in, we've got to get in by Friday. And then we'll still do an RC on June 1st and with a target for the GA release on June 17th. For 3001, SALT 3001. As a part of that release, we do plan on shipping an MSI for Windows alongside of our normal .exe binary install.
Great.
So that's good. And just to follow up on that, did you do a PR to remove the select location dialog box?
Oh no, not yet. But I was able. I have created a Learn repository, and I know how to remove it. Haha. So that was on the 3rd attempt. Long story short, I know how to remove it. I can check in that, but I, incredibly or not have found time yet to do so. But it's a little, well, no, I know how to do it. Let me do it.
Okay, I think it was just setting one variable or removing it, right?
No, you have to change. You have, yeah. Unfortunately, you're using templates. We're using currently SALT Windows MSI uses the directory template. So in the directory template, you cannot remove the directory because it's a directory template. So you need another template, and I started with the minimal template and failed, and now I will use the biggest template there is, but that doesn't mean a bad thing. You just have to call it Mondo, and it works.
Okay.
So it will change.
Is it a major change to the MSI code?
No, it changed. I think it's 2 lines of codes.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. If it's that easy, then let's try it out, and hopefully that'll do us. And that'll put us pretty much in line with the way the MullSoft installer works. So I think that's good. Okay. The WMI versus PythonNet. If we want to revert that, we're going to have to do it by Friday. I didn't see any speed improvements, but me and Joe were supposed to. That was the one thing we didn't get done.
What do you mean by WMI? Windows instrumentation?
Yeah, so I submitted a PR on some of the grains using PythonNet to get the grains information rather than WMI. And when I was initially doing this, it was faster. But now that it's running, now that it's in the code, it's actually slower. So I'm thinking of reverting it and going back to WMI.
I cannot give you any advice. Sorry.
Because we were seeing some other issues with PythonNet, some difficulties in the Wonder build we were talking about.
From my gut feeling, WMI is one of the oldest pieces of technology there is. So I would go for that. I like the old pieces, like they have been there for tens of years, and they're horrible to use, but there is probably no more bug inside. Somebody will find them.
True. The reason I went away from it is that some WMI queries are not optimized, and they actually are a lot slower.
They are slow. That's true.
I think the one I was trying to address in this case was optimized, so the speed comparisons are similar.
Yes, it's true. It's like it does a low priority database search. WMI is geared towards low priority, so you cannot expect things being fast. As soon as you do via WMI, you have low priority.
Right.
In which case do you want it to speed up the response or the grain creation?
Well, the reason I want to speed up grains is because every time we fork a process in Windows, it regenerates the grains. And so that's part of the Windows slowness. That's why Windows is so much slower than Linux. Linux basically just takes a copy of what it has and gives it to the process it spawns. In Windows, when you do a fork, it regenerates all the grains, all the objects, all the loader.
Couldn't you not change the source of the grains, but rather change the behavior depending on the operating system? So if on Windows do not regenerate grains, well, if it's not doing it, because it's a copy, I see. As it's a copy, so let's have it a copy by not regenerating the grains on Windows.
Well, it doesn't. This is actually happens at the Python level. It's not happening in Salt code. And so when it forks the process, Linux behavior is to give it a copy. Windows behavior is to regenerate everything that you need in that new forked process.
You can influence the Python behavior. So you wanted to influence the Python behavior of.
Well, so I was trying to speed up the generation of the grains, so that every time you fork a process, it doesn't take so long. The fix, we plan on migrating to POP eventually, and POP uses a concept of having some processes spinning up and waiting that already have grains generated that you pass your commands to.
Okay.
So instead of forking them, they're sitting there. It's like queuing, I guess, ready to receive commands. So it's already spun up.
I see.
So we've addressed it, and when we eventually migrate everything over to POP, who knows when that will be. Depends on how quickly the community adopts it. You know, there will actually be some speed improvements for Windows. So that was my reasoning behind the PythonNet approach. And somebody else requested the PythonNet library so that they could build some .NET modules that use .NET instead of the regular Windows API stuff. And also, they wanted to hook into PowerShell. You can actually run PowerShell commands directly through .NET without spinning up a PowerShell process. So there were some cool little benefits to it.
Okay. Oh, that's why it's called PythonNet. I see.
Yeah, it's a wrapper around the .NET libraries for Windows. Yeah, it allows you to access them through Python. It's a little weird though. I mean, the syntax is quite strange. But I mean, you'll look at that PR. But you're like, how is this even getting loaded? But anyway, it loads it and it seems to work.
Okay.
It's not the speed improvements I was hoping for.
Well, then I'm changing my mind. I think it would be cool to optionally talk directly to .NET from Python. Within the CVE and all this, I feel the great desire in me to have to remove most of the parts. For example, all this being able to create the IIS roles, I would like to remove because of security reasons. So whatever is inside, I would start with in that nice future with a very clean sheet with only the things I know I tested which are inside, and leave everything outside. But it's nice that people can plug in a .NET a Python to .NET adapter.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So now that I'm going to skip over this for now. Now that we've gotten Python 3, we need to start going through these Python 3 Unicode issues and see if they're addressed by Python 3.7, by the move to Python 3.7.
Yeah, I think, in fact, if that's Unicode, all these issues, I would first wait for Python 3, and then it's complicated enough to do Unicode. As long as the
you had a PR. Yeah, you had a PR where you showed an example of a test, right?
I have a PS. I have a test checked in, which is a false positive. So when I run this test, it comes out positive, but it should come out negative. So let's do that after Python 3. I have labeled it work in progress. As far as I can see, this test should be negative, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's do first sodium and then.
Can you send me the URL to that?
That's easy. Wait.
That PR.
Coming in a second. That looks good. Issues. Filter. Your issues. So. Oh, that's the PR. Sorry, I'm looking for the issues. Give me another minute. Yeah, 56028. Can I send that to?
I got it here.
Okay.
That's a PR, right?
That's the PR. It's only a test. Where is Zoom? it's only a test, and I think it should be wrong. It should be negative, but it turns out to be green. So I don't know. So I wrote Datenträger into some file, which is actually just a drive. Drive in German is a volume. Sorry, it's volume. And well, as you can see, but that's Python. That's Python. Which Python is it? I haven't mentioned that. But then if I run the test, it's coming. Maybe that's a problem. I maybe used Python 2, and now it works in Python 3. Oh, I said somebody asked me, and I used Python 2 and 3. So when I ran it on Python 2 or Python 3, it both load.
Right, and that's because it's Python 3.5. So we need to test this with 3.7 to see if it goes away.
Yep. But
Okay.
I would first remove the directory and from the MSI installer and.
Okay. Well, I will start doing these. I will start doing these tests.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm actually going to write tests. I think some Unicode tests, some unit tests that will.
But if you let's look into the code. You can go from there and
Look at file.py.
no, oh yeah, whatever you want. So that's maybe very old code. What I've seen there in file.py or in the Unicode decode, it actually loops through decodings, which looked strange to me, and eventually ends with ASCII, which isn't the best choice.
Well, it defaults back if it doesn't find a codec. It's got to find some encoding.
Yeah.
Right one. Why can't I find anything?
Yeah, it must have been can already be deleted. Is there still the Unicode decode? Yeah, here it's decode. It uses a decode list. This is what I remember.
Looks like the code has changed on the master branch. Well, I'm on a different branch, and get on the right branch, but it shouldn't be different.
I think the problem always was decode Unicode, or maybe that function already has been replaced by something else. And
Yeah, the code hasn't changed. Your error said body equals
oh yeah, join. Yeah, I
join.
see.
So I'm looking for a body equals join here. Body equals. So I only see 2 in that function. So I wonder if they've moved it into this.
Yeah. It was a decoding function. This looks like a. This is a good place to look into. I think. Well, I just draw it as is. The important thing is, whatever happens, it's such a low level. You must decide when you cannot decode a string, what you're doing with it, and the whole transmission either is broken, or you insert something like I cannot read this byte, or I send it as it is. I think the biggest problem I have with the current or the old behavior, or maybe the current behavior, is that the whole transmission is getting thrown away because of one character, and that may make sense in one direction, but within a comment, for example, it doesn't make sense at all. I cannot read the whole comment because of one character. Maybe within other things, it's a good behavior. So. The question is, when you cannot transmit, should you transmit best effort?
I think that's what the ASCII attempt was. But if it's Unicode, it's not going to decode to ASCII.
In fact, you can try ASCII, but after you tried ASCII, you throw away everything, and that makes it hard to understand also. Yeah, you could. I mean, there can be illegal characters within Unicode. You can insert, or you can craft the illegal Unicode characters. What you're doing then?
Right.
I think the system should be robust enough to not sit on the ground and cry. So throwing away everything is one option, but it's not very robust.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then that might be something for the next release, because that would be a pretty big change.
I wouldn't do it within Sodium. I wouldn't, absolutely, I wouldn't even, that's what I said. The whole thing comes after Python 3, and if we are settled down with Python 3 and waited a month, I have minions who I have minions which I cannot operate because of this problem, but I accepted that. These are 1 of 10,000, 2 of 10,000 minions. That's just something I can accept. I live with that. I wouldn't. It's stupid, and I would have also these last minions on my board, but I have not. So. Okay. And I have no idea what's the problem, because it's just failing to talk to me because of the Unicode error. This is if half of my minions would do that, I would be here and say, please change that now. But 2 of 15,000 is just something goes wrong in any case.
Okay. Are those in another? Are those like French Windows or German Windows or something? They're non-English.
No. Half of, I think 7/8 of my minion are German. Still, only 2 of them create Unicode decode errors for whatsoever reasons.
Really?
All of them are German, and most of the time the umlauts are wrong. So I'm getting exclamation mark, backslash something, and it's not pretty, but it works.
Okay. Okay. So we'll hold off. I'll make a test for it. See if I can reproduce it, but I'm not going to go into doing this stuff.
No, not before Sodium.
Okay. So Shane is going to verify Python 3 Unicode issues.
Oh, I think I need to ask again by WMI versus PythonNet. I think I understand what PythonNet does, but profiling actually would require yet another thing. You cannot profile with neither WMI or PythonNet, I think.
Well, we were going to profile generating the grains with WMI versus generating the grains with PythonNet.
But how do you profile that?
Well, you could put a little timer in there,
Hmm.
Oh,
just some timing.
Timing, and then we also have the option of looking at object size. So, you know, one framework may require more memory consumption than another framework. Just if any of our findings, which unfortunately Shane and I were not able to get to, but if our findings show drastic differences, then we would argue that there is a clear winner between the two. If it's a wash, it's a wash.
And
okay.
then we just leave it.
Then I wish you the best and a winner, a clear winner. But regarding profiling, you can profile the master, and outcome is a very beautiful picture of where does the master spend its time and the entity of the master. And it would just be, I think, I feel now to say it's necessary to do the same with the minion. So to get an understanding what the minion does, you can look there if you want to decide WMI versus Python. But if you already have an idea where the problem is, it's not profiling. Profiling should be everywhere, and it's inside the master. The basic technology is cProfile, and the master deploys some other module, which I think it's called, which I can't remember. And but profiling the minion would show us where does the minion spend its CPU, because I have a CPU problem on my machine. You're talking on something like a response time problem.
That's probably this one.
And we have other issues open with CPU problems. One of them saying, yep, this is not from me.
Might be related to yours.
Yeah, I would. This is an ideal candidate for profiling.
Agreed.
And I'm pretty sure that the master also spins up threads or something. So you can as we can profile the master, let's just profile the minion and have all this give an answer to them. We can tell Vinny, the person with a V, how to activate the profiler, and he's a step further.
So that's probably adding some code into the minion so that we can profile it, right?
Yes, but I think it's just minimal code. It's a minimal overhead. The cProfiler is in the master, and it's one of the reasons why Python is a cool language, because you can profile it.
Okay. Well,
My
this will be
concern with
something.
the minion compared to the master is the minion does a lot more multi-processing and making sure we inject that processor in every single form of multi-processing we do.
Yep.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
That'll be something for the next release.
I think so. I think profiling won't be ready for Friday, but I would like to push that, because I have no idea whether the Unix minion have better performance, but I cannot use a Python 3 minion. I would like to, but the CPU usage is prohibitive, as I learned in the TV.
Yeah, and that's a really good opportunity to maybe start deep diving into what's truly taking Windows a little bit longer to do some things, especially on the minion side.
Not only longer, like it's eating up CPU. If it's just longer, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, there's some obvious downsides that we have to address with the Windows minion, and hopefully that will give us some new insight.
So Marcus was saying that it eats up like 50 or 100% for the first minute while it's starting.
up to a minute. Yeah. Now it fluctuates. It's only 20 seconds, but 20 seconds, 50% CPU. For me, that's not going to ship.
Yeah, and there may be some other instances where instead of using multiprocessing, we can benefit from using a multi-threaded.
I
Well,
would say
the-
the old rule is first program, then profile, and see where your performance problems are. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's not even how you have multiprocessing. Maybe it's something completely new, and we haven't thought of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think multiprocessing,
Let me go to the phone. Sorry,
Yes.
I hear you still.
okay.
By the way.
So multiprocessing, we turned it on for Windows because I think the jobs caches and some other things weren't working properly
Mhm.
under threading. So we just decided that multiprocessing would be the way to do it in Windows. However, threading was much faster in Windows. When we were doing threading, Windows machines would return before the Linux boxes on the test.ping. I mean, it was really fast. And then when we
Sure.
went to multiprocessing, it like was 10 times slower than Linux.
And maybe you can, maybe the right solution is a mix of both.
What was the reason for multiprocessing? I may have skipped that.
We turned it on because we were having a problem with jobs. This was like 5 years ago. I'm trying to remember
Oh, okay.
why we did it. But since then, it has been what we use on Windows instead of threading. Threading was like crapping all over itself. It was, I don't know, it's been so long, I can't remember. But there
Okay.
was an issue that was fixed by going to multiprocessing.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember exactly what that issue was. Maybe Dave Boucher will remember. Okay, well, I guess what I want to ask then is, is there anything that we're missing that's going to keep us from hitting our, I think we're good on Python 3.7 for Sodium, and I think we're good on the MSI for Windows, as long as you get that one change in.
Yep.
And that doesn't go into the salt repo.
No.
So we have time to address that one. I guess maybe maybe, Joe, you're in the middle of stuff, aren't you? You wouldn't have some time to do some quick timing with this WMI Python net thing?
I'll have a little bit of time this week. I could squeeze
Well,
it.
We have till Friday.
Okay.
So today or tomorrow, we ought to take a look at this and
Yeah.
see if it's worth rolling back or not. All right, so we're still going to do that today or tomorrow. Were there any outstanding Windows issues that we should absolutely try to fix?
Shane, another thing to worry about if we do try the threading again is a lot of third-party modules for Python don't like sharing the GIL. So if you have a really long job running in the background, it might hold on to the guild, so longer jobs won't run, and we'll have to wait for the completion of that long job.
Okay. Well, that will be for another release. We're not going to fix that in this one.
No way. Yeah, no way. I don't have all the outstanding Windows related salt issues, my side are done.
Yeah, they were done on mine too.
I think Chad finished his.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, I think we're good. I think we've reached our goals for Sodium. Our goal is Python 3.7 and an MSI, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So I think we've got it.
I will try to do that this evening, so I
Okay.
will Slack you when I'm ready.
Awesome. Does anybody else have anything we need to talk about?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate all the work you've done, Marcus. You've been awesome.
Thank
You've
you.
been amazing on this MSI stuff.
I learned a lot. When Chad came, I created this learning repo. We will have some fun on that, I'm sure. But it was necessary that somebody came, so it gave me the necessary push to do all these exercises I didn't want to do earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you, Marcus, for helping teach me all the MSI witchcraft.
You're welcome. Let's continue that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you again, guys. We'll see you next month. We'll have an RC out hopefully by June 1st, and that will include an MSI, and we'll be on Python 3.7. So,
I wrote there, automate the MSI. Do you have any questions related to that?
so I did have, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna automate it yet. I've got to see how it works. Well, I mean, I know how it works. I'm also in the process of trying to include this new binary build stuff, the Wonder stuff. I have about half the code written for it, so it'd probably just be, maybe just piggyback onto that. Maybe I should do them both at once. I don't know. It's not too big a process to build Nullsoft, then build the MSI. It's not really that intensive of a task, is what I'm saying. I mean, I launch a script.
Yep. I found out, by the way, do you use the Windows virus scanner or the original Windows, how it's
Windows
called?
Defender,
Defender.
I do.
Good, because you can deactivate it via PowerShell. It's already in the code. I have a pull request for that, and that speeds up very much the process of compiling the MSI. So it's like half the time for the MSI when you deactivate the virus scanner.
So it turns it back on when it's done?
Yep.
Yeah, because it sits there and scans everything as you're compiling it, as you're building it. Yeah, if you look at the anti-malware executable, it's sitting there. Every time I'm copying files, it's scanning them.
Yeah.
Which I guess is doing its job. But
Yeah, it's good that you can deactivate that because, well, it's the code I have checked in Git. I know what I'm doing, and it's a relief when you want to do testing cycles and like going away and coming back is stupid. Like having it running, it's much nicer.
Okay, cool. You're going to put that in the build script for the MSI?
It's already there.
Okay.
I only use it because if you can use it too when you have the Microsoft virus scanner. If you have your beloved antivirus from Norton, then it wouldn't work.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. Does anybody else have anything?
Yep. Then.
Thank you, guys.
See you.
See you next month.
Yep.
Yep. See ya.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Happy Corona.
Yep.
Corona.
Bye-bye.
Bye.